God's covenant is ignored. The word came from the Lord to Jeremiah, saying, "Hear the words of this covenant. And you shall speak to the men of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem. You shall say to them, Thus says the Lord God of Israel, Cursed is the man who will not hear the words of this covenant, which I commanded your fathers in the day I brought them out of the land of Egypt, from the iron furnace, saying, Hear my voice, and do all I command you. So you shall be to me as a people and I will be to you as God, that I may confirm the oath I swore to your fathers, to give to them a land flowing with milk and honey, as it is today." Then I answered and said, O Lord, may it be so. Then the Lord said to me, Read aloud these words in the cities of Judah and outside Jerusalem, saying, Hear the words of this covenant and do them. But they did not. Again the Lord said to me, A conspiracy was found among the men of Judah and among the inhabitants of Jerusalem. They turned back to the wrongdoings of their forefathers who were unwilling to hear my words. Behold, they go after foreign gods to serve them. Both the house of Israel and the house of Judah rejected my covenant which I made with their fathers. Therefore, thus says the Lord, Behold, I will bring calamities on this people from which they cannot escape, and they shall cry out to me, but I will not listen. Then the cities of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem will go and cry out to the gods to whom they offer incense. But will they save them in the time of their calamities? O Judah, your gods were based on the number of your cities, and according to the number of streets in Jerusalem, you appointed altars to burn incense to Baal. Do not pray for this people, and do not consider them worthy in petition, for I will not hear their prayer in the time they cry out to me or in the time of their distress. Why has my beloved done a detestable thing in my house? Will prayers and holy offerings remove your vices from you? Will you escape by means of these? The Lord called your name a pleasant olive tree, a good shade tree in appearance. At the sound of its pruning, a fire was kindled against it. Great is the affliction coming upon you. Its branches have become worthless. For the Lord who planted you has proclaimed troubles against you in return for the evil the house of Israel and the house of Judah did against themselves when they offered incense to Baal and provoked my wrath. A plot against Jeremiah. O Lord, teach me, and I will know. Then I saw their purpose. Omega, for I did not know I was like an innocent lamb led to be sacrificed. They plotted an evil device against me, saying, Come, let us put wood in his bread, and destroy him root and branch from the land of the living, so his name might not be remembered any longer. But, O Lord, you who judge righteously, who tests minds and hearts, let me see your vengeance on them, for I have revealed my righteous plea to you. Therefore thus says the Lord against the men of Anathoth, against those who seek my life, and who say, Do not prophesy in the name of the Lord, lest you die by our hands. Behold, I will visit them. The young men shall die by the sword, and their sons and daughters shall die by famine. There shall be no remnant of them, for I will bring calamities on the inhabitants of Anathoth in the year of their visitation. Jeremiah pleads his case. O Lord, you are righteous, that I may plead my case with you, to speak to you concerning judgments. Why does the way of the ungodly prosper, and all who deal treacherously flourish? You planted them, and they took root. They bear children and are fruitful. You are near in their mouth, but far from their mind. But you, O Lord, know me. You have proven my heart before you. Set them apart for the day of slaughter. How long will the land mourn and the grass of the field wither, because of the vices of those who dwell in it? The cattle and the birds are destroyed, because they said, God will not see our ways. The Lord answers him. Your feet run and grow weary. How then will you prepare yourself to run with horses? You are confident when the land is peaceful, but what will you do when the Jordan floods the land? But even your brothers and the house of your father dealt treacherously with you. They cried out and gathered together in pursuit of you. Do not trust them because they will speak fair words to you. I forsook my house and left my inheritance. I gave my beloved inheritance into the hands of its enemies, for my inheritance became to me like a lion in the forest. It raised its voice against me, therefore, I hated it. Is not my inheritance the cave of a hyena to me, or a cave it walks around? Gather together all the wild beasts of the field and let them come to devour her. Many shepherds destroyed my vineyard and defiled my portion. They turned my pleasant portion into an impassable desert. It was made a complete ruin. The whole land was utterly destroyed for my sake, because there was no man who took it to heart. The tormentors come to every passage in the desert, because the sword of the Lord will devour from one end of the land to the other. No flesh has any peace. Sow fires and reap thorns. Their portions will not profit them. Be ashamed of your boasting because of your disgrace before the Lord. For thus says the Lord, concerning all the evil neighbors who touch my inheritance, which I divided to my people Israel, behold, I shall draw them away from their land and will cast out Judah from their midst. Then it shall come to pass, after I cast them out, that I will return them and have mercy on them. I will settle them, each in his inheritance and each in his land. It shall be that if they carefully learn the way of my people, to swear by my name, saying, The Lord lives, as they taught my people to swear by Baal, so they shall be built as a nation in the midst of my people. But if they do not return, I will remove that nation by destruction and ruin. The sash, a symbol of Israel. Thus says the Lord, Go and get yourself a linen sash and put it around your waist, but let it not pass through the water. So I got the sash according to the word of the Lord, and put it around my waist. Again the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Take the sash from around your waist. Arise and go to the Euphrates, and hide it there in a hole in the rock. So I went and hid it by the Euphrates as the Lord commanded me. Again it came to pass that after many days the Lord also said to me, Arise and go to the Euphrates, and take from there the sash I commanded you to hide there. Then I went to the Euphrates river and dug, and took the sash from the place where I buried it. Behold, it was rotted and good for nothing. Then the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Thus says the Lord, In this manner I will destroy the insolence of Judah and that of Jerusalem. The great insolence of those who are unwilling to obey my words, and who walk after foreign gods to serve and worship them. They shall be like the sash good for nothing. For as a sash clings to the waist of a man, so I caused the house of Israel and the whole house of Judah to cling to me, so as to become a notable people to me, as a boast and a glory, but they would not listen to me. 10:20-21 This prayer of Jeremiah is ultimately to be answered at the judgment. But for now, Jews and Gentiles alike are invited to call upon the name of the Lord. 11:13 Wherefore to Jeremiah also he said, Pray not for this people, for I will not hear thee, not as wishing to stop his praying, for he earnestly longs for our salvation, but to terrify them, and this the prophet also seeing did not cease praying. St. John Chrysostom. 11:18 Jeremiah here, as elsewhere, serves as a foreshadowing of Christ, the truly innocent lamb who was sacrificed by those who planned to exterminate his entire legacy. 11:20 Anathoth, c. 1:1. This explains, in part, Christ's saying regarding the rejection of a prophet in his hometown, Luke 4:24. 11:17-12:5, 9-11,14,15. This passage is read on Holy Thursday and Holy Friday. 12:1. Here Jeremiah takes up a theme dealt with far more extensively in Job, c. 4. Example, Job 12:6. 12:5. If we grow weary in the trials of ordinary life, how do we expect to handle swift horses or floods? The answer is, through Christ. 12:7-8. The suffering of the incarnate God. Look with awe then at the Lord who was judged. He suffered himself to be led and carried by soldiers. Pilate sat in judgment, and he who sits on the right hand of the Father, stood and was judged. Saint Cyril of Jerusalem. 12:14-16. Jeremiah quickly changes his audience to the Gentiles, promising them inclusion. Among the people of God should they learn to worship him. The full reality of this was not encountered until the coming of Christ. 13:1. A linen sash was used as a loincloth. 13:4. The Euphrates, although residing in Judah, Jeremiah is commanded to go to Babylon to hide the sash, then return later to uncover it. Although it is feasible Jeremiah took such a trip before the destruction of the city, it is more likely that God transported him. Whether this happened in the body or in the spirit is unclear.